Over the last year, I've been working towards making hardcore's most insane wither skeleton farm. Providing me with over 2,000 wither skulls an hour, I think I've done just that. And I've accomplished all of this without the help of any TNT duping. But now that we got the farm done, and we've gotten a lot of the perimeter completely spawn-proof, it's time for the next phase. We're going to be turning this entire area into its own metropolis underground. Think of Gothic Cyberpunk when it comes to city. Heavily inspired by Arcane and Gotham, welcome to Motham City. Well, a bunch of shulker boxes later, but I have finally completed all 4 walls of the nether perimeter now, from bedrock to bedrock, completely filled with black concrete, and I've even started doing the ceiling as well. Except one big problem. I don't have enough black concrete for the ceiling. The ceiling alone is going to take me about 40 shulker boxes of black concrete, and I'm currently completely out of gravel, so I'll have to find some additional gravel mountains to make that happen. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep designing some of the stuff in here while we run back some of our resources. Down below me, you guys will notice I've got a bunch of copper trapdoors aging up while I map out this entire area, which honestly has me thinking this would be a perfect location to have a copper aging facility and a bee farm as well. So we're definitely going to be building up a factory for that. If we shift our attention over here, you guys can see I've started mapping out a little bit of a bridge, although I'm not really happy with the way that these center bits are going. These center bits are going. I've marked out the middle here, but I want to create a little bit more of an aggressive archway coming into the middle and then working off of something like that. But I do really love that the bridge extends past the platform, and I've got these little redstone torches up here just to add a little bit of light. And as for the middle, you guys may have noticed, but I've got quite a bit planned. I'm actually going to be stacking 2 completely different laboratories on top of one another. The top one being built out of primarily copper, which is why I'm oxidizing all of these trapdoors. I'll throw a photo up on the screen so you guys can see exactly what the reference is behind that. And down below, supporting the laboratory above, we're going to have an additional laboratory built out of brick, which is going to be a little bit more grimy because it's part of like the bottom part, the under part of the city. And this is going to have the 4 pillars, which is actually going to support the laboratory above. So of course I have a lot of moving parts going on inside of there. There is a ton of things to do, but I think it's time that we go find ourselves some gravel mountains and we start getting some black concrete to finish off the ceiling. Because currently, as it stands, I have 3 gravel to my name. But before I go out and find a gravel mountain, I want to show you guys this mountain over here, which is Lord of Dragon Mountain. This was in the last episode, so if you guys missed this episode, I'll put a card in the right-hand corner for those of you guys who want to catch this. But this is where I got all of the black dye to get all the black concrete done for their perimeter. And of course, as a quick reminder, if you guys are enjoying the episode so far, don't forget to leave a like because it really helps out the channel, and consider subscribing if you guys want to see some more. But I know what you guys are thinking. The skulk is barely around the volcano, but don't worry, I've got a massive plan cooking up for this in the future. Well, we now currently have a toggle to turn on and off the wither skeleton farm behind me, and we also have a Gothic style bridge leading up to what's about to be the laboratory. I think that this design on the top of the bridge looks absolutely fantastic. It's supposed to be like kind of like abstract art of a butterfly or a moth. But let me show you guys how this thing over here works. So originally I built this so everything was at least light level 1, but I was wrong. It needs to be at least light level 7 to stop wither skellies from spawning. I have the glass panes right here to create the lava blade that cuts all the way through the farm. You guys can see I already got a bunch of these guys in here, but if I flick this lever right here, which will move, don't worry, this will turn off all of the lava sources, allowing us to enable the wither skellies to spawn again. As you guys can see behind me, we already got wither skellies spawning. But this is really important because if I turn this off like so, and we maneuver on over here, I meant to say meander, but here we are. I've been building up this guy over here, which is actually a froglight farm. So this froglight farm can produce over 20,000 froglights an hour, which is absolutely fantastic. But this is just one layer. I need to put additional layers on top of this. But more importantly, I need to work on a toggle to be able to turn off and on this farm. Magma cubes, though, don't care about light sources. So I was unable to create a light source in order to stop them from spawning. So what I've done is I have a bunch of sticky pistons with observers underneath them, and I'm gonna run a redstone line to activate all of that. That way, when we look inside the actual farm here, you'll notice that all of these deep slate blocks get pushed up by a block. That's because magma cubes need to have a 3x3 area in order to spawn. So there should be absolutely no magma cubes spawning in here. This is very important because if this farm is going, that wither skelly farm over there won't work. And before you guys ask, because I know you will, the redstone is to spawn proof this entire area. I actually had gas spawning on here, and if a gas blows up that redstone over there, I'm in some big trouble. But what makes redstone really, really nice is that I could just punch it out afterwards. I don't need to like mine anything out like slabs or whatever it may be, or buttons. It's just really easy to get rid of afterwards. As for the froglight stonks, I would be pretty confident that there's at least maybe 5 stacks right now of every single froglight as it stands. I've also done my best to line up the farm with the actual bridge right here. And if you guys are attending the live streams, then you guys already know kind of the plan of what I want to build around this thing. And that is going to be kind of a distillery. And we're going to be distilling hops. Get it? Because frogs. And just because I forgot to show you guys, let me show you guys the side of the bridge, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. I know that there's some dark spots, but that's okay. Those dark spots are actually where we're going to be branching off other bridges off of the main bridge. But now I should probably get back to work and create a on and off switch for this guy. Look at this thing go. This froglight farm is absolutely popping off, and I completely forgot to fly there. But anyways, I've set up a on and off switch for the froglight farm, and I've even done so with one lever instead of using the usual 5 to 6. Let me just turn these guys all the way down so we don't have to listen to them. But let me demonstrate how this thing works. If I flick this lever right here, it goes all the way up the torch tower, which activates all of the observers. And then up top, it activates all of the pistons from above. And if I fly over here and I allow all the magma cubes to despawn, I'll show you guys that it now completely shuts down the froglight farm. If we take a little bit of a closer look inside of the magma cube farm, well, it basically it's pretty straightforward. We're just taking up the spawning spaces, so magma cubes can only spawn in a 3x3 area. So I'm pretty much pushing a block into their spawning space and stopping them from spawning. And now time for the froglights themselves. Take a little bit of a quick look at this. I've only been running this for about a live stream, and every single one of these double chests is completely jam-packed with froglights. And I've even think we started filling up the hoppers in behind and some of the double chests above. Don't worry, I'm going to be auto sorting all of the froglights, and I'm going to be making an auto crafter for all the magma cubes to be turned into magma blocks as well. But speaking about auto crafters, I have completely destroyed the entirety of what I used to have here that used to basically sort all of the items that went through the Wither Skelly area. So all of these filters, we have bones all the way down here, and then we have coal all the way over here, and then of course we have the Wither Skulls right there. Everything gets collected down inside of these chests that I cannot reach, but let me see if I can fly up in here. I basically ran this for about 2 minutes the other day, and I was able to get all of these bones. But ultimately, the goal is I want to be putting auto crafters underneath the entirety of this storage area. I want to be auto crafting our way down, and I want to be making coal blocks and bone blocks, and then even filtering in some of those coal blocks into furnace arrays so I can keep the ball rolling with this build. And that's because currently, as it sits, I am running out of nether bricks. I've been building up all of the bridges going all the way around this entire perimeter, which honestly is taking up a few more resources than I predicted. But anyways, the ultimate goal is to continue on with the bridges while I have a furnace array right here in the center, constantly cooking up netherrack. But ideally, I want to be branching everything off of these main bridges in behind me. Every one of these bridges has a little bit of a sub bridge that's going to be connected off of these bridges. And I've even lined up the FROGLIGHT farm, which is going to be the hops factory or the hops distillery. I'm going to be building in a shop front up top. That's going to be the distillery. And then I was thinking about building an additional shop to do with bees to be a little bit more of the brewery type deal, which I already told you guys about earlier in today's episode. So I'm going to continue on with these bridges, and doing so, I'm also going to be doing the ceiling of this entire perimeter, and we'll see exactly how much more work we can get done in today's episode. Which we have gotten a lot of work done in today's episode, which I'm really looking forward to the next stage of that whole build. But I'm in the process of transferring everything on over to a brand new computer. And you know what that means? That means we're going to have to explore 1.21.5 potentially in the next episode if I can line up everything correctly. So I'm also looking very forward to that. But until then, I'm just going to be crafting up all of the black concrete to get the ceiling done. And it's times like this that I'm very happy that Mojang has enabled the spamming the space bar to craft things a lot faster. Speaking of faster, check this out, because I have made some very big adjustments out here in the perimeter for the Wither Skeleton farm and of course the FROGLIGHT farm. You guys notice that I've started a bit of a dropper tower, bringing up all of the froglights into this area right over here. And that's because I want to link it up to a bridge, add in some additional buildings, and of course, link this up to a building with a full interior. But there's a little bit to unpack here. This whole area right here, this is a auto sorter for all the froglights. Over here is a auto crafter for all of the magma blocks that get shot into this chest right over here. But now I have a very, very well organized storage room for all the froglights. But that's not all. I've been very busy over here creating a auto crafter, crafting up nothing but bone blocks and coal blocks. So over here we have all of our bone blocks, and that goes all the way up until the buckles flip. So right over here are all of the coal blocks that will automatically be auto crafted. And of course, the entire thing is fairly slim. So big shout out to Timmy the Man who helped me come up with this design, because I'm not much of a redstoner myself. And also thank you to one of my moderators, Wicked, who also did a design for me, but unfortunately was a little bit late. So thank you. Meanwhile, by doing all that redstone, I have been smelting up all kinds of netherrack that I collected earlier in the live stream. Just created something very simple, very easy to work on in the background while I've been doing a lot of other redstone and stuff, and just been basically running back all the resources to continue on with the bridges, which are now almost fully done. There are some additional things that I need to add to these bridges in order to fully finish them off, but like I said, I need to wait for all of the nether brick to be finished before I can move along with this project. But in doing so, all of our copper has finished aging. And this also almost includes every single trapdoor that we've been aging, which means we're almost ready to take on the laboratory. But that definitely won't be in today's episode because I think we've got a fair bit of stuff to finish. And now that I got the bridges done, I have started laying out a few of the additional buildings here. And let me show you guys exactly what I've got going on because it's quite a bit to unpack here. But over here on the right, this is going to be a greenhouse where science experiments have gone terribly wrong, where I'm going to introduce the creaking eventually once I'm able to name tag the creaking and bring them over to the nether. Looking at the palette, I really like the way everything is turning out so far. I've got the hanging moss that I'm going to incorporate into this build. I've kind of added in the weather oxidizational copper trapdoors, or however you want to say that. I've got the eye blossom flowers up there with all the flower pots, and I'm going to create like a nice little dome. We're going to have these bridges. They're going to go all the way across. We're going to have like a nice aquifer or aqueduct. I don't know which one it is, but we're going to have like a little bit of a sewer system with like super algaed up water. Walking in here, I'm probably going to put a diagonal doorway right here. And then on the inside of here is actually going to be a cyan dye pitcher pod plant farm. And then across the way, there is a significant amount of things happening over here. So we already spoke about the hops distillery right there, but I've laid out two additional, I don't know what they're called, but they're supposed to be like kind of like bridge supports. And I'm going to call them cradles or bird cages for the time being. But you'll notice that this is going to hold up the additional bridges that are going to be coming off of the main bridge right over here. And then we're going to have like a nice little domed in area. Right between here, we're going to have the last drop with a big giant neon sign that's going to be like right in between these little guys, and it's going to fit snugly right on in there. And if we kind of come down this bridge, you can kind of get a little bit of a feel for exactly how this is all going to be coming together. If we go straight, this will be the hops distillery. If we take a little gander on down here, this is going to be the entranceway to the last drop. And then, of course, over here is going to be another little cradle. And then we might even continue on down with the bridge over here. Or maybe we'll descend on downwards. I also named 4 bees right there. And those bees are actually going to be put inside of a farm. I'm thinking probably right here. So this whole distillery is going to be not only creating like honeycomb and honey, but it's also going to be providing us with all of our froglights, which, whoops, I'm dying. And we're back. Has really been popping off. So we got all the magma blocks over here. All of the froglights are, well, I couldn't be more happy with the amount of froglights that I got going on here because it is a absolute ton. And of course, down below, we are oxidizing all of the copper grates because I'm going to be utilizing these quite a bit. For those of you guys who are not aware, copper grates are 100% spawn proof because they are a transparent block. So treat them almost like glass, if you will. I've got the entirety of the bottom portion of the perimeter completely coppered out. Over here is where those bees are located. If you guys know exactly what these bees are named after, let me know because it's super incredibly nerdy and Amanda named them all. So I'm interested to see if any of you guys know what that might be. Over here, we have all of the froglights, of course. Pretty much all of these boxes are completely jam-packed. And then I've got a couple empty boxes right there. But all in all, we only have a couple builds put in here, and it's already feeling a little bit claustrophobic. I think that this puts the entire perimeter in a little bit of a perspective. I'm interested to see if it's going to slow down our wither skeleton farm at all, which doesn't really matter because this thing is cranking out skulls, bones, and coal faster than I can keep up with. I still have to set up this beacon right over here, but there is a absolute ton of space to continue on with all of the building that we've got going on in here. So of course, if you guys want to see the development of all of this, you guys know where to follow me over on Twitch, or you can watch the live streams on YouTube now, because I am live streaming on YouTube. Or if live streams aren't your thing, you can always just check out the episodes as they come out. But as for the greenhouse, I think that this greenhouse is going to have to be finished in the next episode. So if you want to see this thing get finished, you'll have to wait till next time. And of course, we're probably going to be starting up this side over here as well. And in the meantime, I'm going to continue on crafting up all kinds of black concrete, getting it ready for the next episode. And I might be switching over to 1.21.5 so we can explore all the brand new animals that are going to be introduced to the game. And I'm going to be switching over computers and all that fun stuff. So that will be exciting. But until then, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one.